So here we are in Pattaya, Thailand, yet another day. So I know I did a vlog this morning, but I feel like I haven't been keeping up with my vlogs. And as far as the Let's Live videos go, I found last night that this whole scene was absolutely gorgeous as the sun set. So I figured I definitely want to do a Let's Live video while the sun sets over this just wonderful, I think it's called the Gulf of Thailand. So we're out here for yet again another whatever the hell we call this thing, another vlog, as they say. So, yep, the foot is doing better, I'm very happy about that. So we're finishing off yet another day of antibiotics. So I've taken about 2 days of the antibiotics at this point, and the foot is looking good. So the swelling has gone down significantly. If you look at both feet now, they both look almost identical. One is still a little puffier than the other one is, but overall I think it's working out well. So the antibiotics are doing good, and so I'm only down I've only done 2 days of antibiotics out of a 7-day course, so if I'm already looking good now, by the end of another 5 days, I should be all good, all perfect. The one warning, whenever they give you any kind of really nasty antibiotics, make sure you do the entire course. Literally, the stupidest thing in the world you can ever do, especially if you have a really bad infection, is take like part of the course. That's what they always warn you about. Because a lot of people, what happens is they start to feel better, or they start to feel good, or they think they're completely clear up. And so they stop taking the antibiotics because they figure it's kind of like Tylenol. If you stop having a headache, you stop taking the Tylenol. Yeah, well, the issue is all the bacteria may not be out of your system. And so if you stop taking the antibiotics before all the bacteria are killed out of your system, everything can come back, and it can be like exponentially worse, and it can make it really, really, really horrible for you. So especially when you have something like cellulitis, yeah, you don't want it to come back and be horrible. Basically, if you're like me, and you see you're having symptoms of cellulitis, and you happen to go to the hospital, and you happen to get medications in a very short order, you just want to take that for the win. You want to take that for the win, and go on with your life. You don't want to take half the medication, and then really get the nasty stuff. Because again, if you want something that'll really make you vomit, do a Google image search on cellulitis. Holy crap. And again, as I say, when you say cellulitis, it sounds so nice. It sounds so quaint. You're like, oh, cellulitis. That's not too bad. Oh, good. I have cellulitis. I was worried I had something bad. But you just go do a Google search on cellulitis, and then you'll realize, holy crap. Oh my golly. That is just too nice a name. They need to come up with a better name than cellulitis. Because I swear, when you hear cellulitis, it's just like, yeah, cellulitis doesn't sound so bad. And then you see what cellulitis is. And you're like, holy crap. Holy bad crap. Truly. Anyway, so on a nice little stroll tonight, as we hopefully see the nice sunset over the Gulf of Thailand, I want to talk about YouTube content creator ambivalence. Because this is a big problem in the YouTube content creator world. And I would argue it's a big problem in the modern economy world overall. So, with the topic of YouTube content creator ambivalence, let us go and start doing our nice little Let's Live here. So we're along the little ocean walk here in Pattaya. Absolutely beautiful. Obviously, it's not the like Thailand people think of, but it's great. I don't know. I like it. Anyway, so let's talk about YouTube content creator ambivalence and why this is important, to the larger economy. And I would argue the issue with the larger economy is the bigger deal. So I was watching a video by this guy called Onionson today. Have you ever heard of Onionson? If you haven't seen Onionson, go and watch Onionson. I'm not sure I'd ever subscribe to Onionson. He seems a little, I don't know, seems like a kind of humor that I get tired of after about 10 episodes of. But at least for 10 episodes, I think you would laugh at him a bit. But basically, in that video, he goes after PewDiePie and Markiplier and some of these other people about their views about YouTube drama. And he basically goes, I would argue, too far over his 10-minute video, basically making this whole thing about, oh, YouTube content creators, we work so hard and we struggle so hard. And basically he's mocking us and saying that we should get respect and all this kind of thing. But I would argue that this is probably one of the issues that I see in the YouTube content creator world, is that in this modern world, YouTube content creators really have a lot of ambivalence about what we do. And that causes a problem because we put a lot of effort, we put a lot of time, we put a lot of energy, we put a lot of resources into what we do. And then so many people, including ourselves, act as if we should not get paid for it, right? So, I mean, this is something to be thinking about. Like, when you think about YouTube content creators, I don't know about other YouTube content creators. I met some other YouTube content creators. I know their stories. But I can talk about myself for a minute, right? So when I create my YouTube content, again, for Eli the Computer Guy, the main channel, what you have to realize is I literally have $250,000 in education in my little brain, right? So I have 1,600 hours of technical training. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have 600 hours of emergency services training. I've owned my own business. I've hired and fired people for myself and for corporations. Basically lots and lots and lots of experience, and wound up creating YouTube content kind of in the way that a lot of people get into like startup companies or whatever else. You sit there, and at some point you're looking at the checks and you're looking at the money that getting deposited into your account, but you're not really sure how the hell you got here. As I always say, I'm not really sure what the plan was anymore, but what I'm doing sure as hell wasn't the plan. But the important thing to understand is getting into YouTube. Again, did not want to be had no interest in being a star, had no interest in being world known or being able to be recognized on the street or any of that kind of stuff. Basically, I was a high quality technology professional that happened to wind up onto YouTube. Now, as far as doing like the Fail Normal channel and whether or not anybody should have respect for what I'm doing here, I know I've only got like 4,500 subscribers on this channel right now, and I'm making $87 per month. I'm very happy about that. I'm very excited. We're up to $87 per month on ad revenue and $72 a month on Patreon. Anyways, so it doesn't seem like a lot. But again, as far as a content creator goes, I mean, I am really out here doing this stuff to create content. I mean, I really am in Thailand right now, and I really did fly halfway across the world to be in Thailand. And not only did I fly halfway across the world to be in Thailand, but literally 2 days ago, I was sitting in a Thai hospital wondering if I might have to have my foot chopped off. So, let's put this blunt. Any jackass out there that says, oh, YouTube content creators, you just want to get paid for like nothing real. You just want to talk into cameras and get paid for it. Yeah, fuck off. Because like I say, how many of you people have ever worried about your foot because of your job? But the problem that I see with a lot of YouTube content creators is that they don't take what they do seriously. And again, like I say, a lot of us, and I would say most of us that make any kind of money off of YouTube content creation really are not schmucks. I mean, even when you look at people like PewDiePie, even when you look at folks like the Fine Brothers and all that kind of stuff, these are folks that have real businesses. They put real time, they put real money, they put real energy into what they're doing. I mean, if you were a professional in any other field, and you put 6 or 7 or 10 years into it, you would have the real expectation of making well over $100,000 for doing that and to be respected. Like, why is it that in the YouTube world, you can work 10 years doing something, you can build something up, you can take an idea from nothing and build it into something being very, very, very impressive, and yet people still feel like all it really is a hobby and they shouldn't get paid for it? And the big issue that I see is that even a lot of YouTube content creators seem to feel this way. Again, this is one of the things, like I watch the Vlog Brothers a lot, and why I just want to kick John Green and his gonads half the time, is because there was a while ago, if you watch the Vlog Brothers videos, where I guess they used to not monetize their videos. They used to not monetize their videos at all. So they put out 2 videos a week. They get a lot of views, because, I mean, they're good to watch. I watch them all. But then for a long time, they felt it was like against their artistic
whatever the hell they were doing to monetize it. So they didn't monetize any of their videos. And then when they did end up monetizing their videos, they said it would all go to like charity or something. Their Don't Forget to Be Awesome Foundation or something like that, or Nerve Fighter Foundation. But the interesting part was when you saw their argument for a lot of it, it was like they felt sheepish about taking any money at all. They felt sheepish, as if somehow them putting out good quality content that people that wanted to watch, that advertisers would pay to put advertising on, as if it was somehow wrong for them to monetize that. Whereas if you look at the content that they create, again, whether or not you like it, I mean, it takes time and energy to do. I mean, they're only 4 minutes long, but they do a crap ton of jump cuts. They have to create their little they have to create their little scripts and all that kind of stuff for what they do. And so it seems very, 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 very strange when you see people even that big that seem to get like really squeamish about the idea of taking money. Even if you look at like our old boy Louis Rossmann, right? Everybody on this channel likes Louis Rossmann. I like Louis Rossmann. But even him, you hear about how he doesn't really expect to make very much money off of YouTube content creation, and yet he's putting in a lot of good quality educational material out there that basically nobody else in the world is providing, right? I just watched, I used to be a certified military electronics repair person. And believe me, I fucking hate electronics repair. I'm never doing it again. I don't care how much you pay me. It's like, Eli, but you can make $1,000 in 20 minutes. I could. Yeah. I will let somebody else do it. I will let Louis Rossmann do that. Screw that. I hate electronic repair. But I was watching like one of his videos today. And he was showing like some Mac board, motherboard repair. And here's the thing. I can say as a technology professional, if you go back even 3 or 4 or 5 years, I don't think there is literally any place that you would have been able to find that type of information. I'm not sure if you would even been willing to pay for it, right? You know, a lot of stuff, a lot of the information that you see that people create classes for on YouTube, basically there was literally no place to get that information in the past. Now, as far as like technology information goes, I know, because I've paid for a lot of technology classes out of my own pocket, and it's very normal to pay $3,000 or more for a 1-week course. So basically a 40-hour course, you pay $3,000 or more, which basically means you're paying somewhere between $75 to $100 per hour, and there's 20 to 30 people in that room. Yes, education is good money. Again, when I talk about all these Al-Qaeda loving teacher union bastards, and they all say that, oh, nobody wants to pay teachers for education, as I keep trying to say, nobody wants to pay for the crap that they're selling. People will pay crap tons of money for education that they feel actually matters. Here's the thing. Nobody feels the modern American education system is worth the money that we're putting into it. Now, there's 2 ways that the high school teachers and the modern education teachers could deal with this. They could either start trying to create an education system that people do feel is worth money, or they can do what they're doing, and as I would say, be exponentially worse than Al-Qaeda as they destroy our country by destroying our education system and driving the knowledge of our kids into the toilet. But anyways, that's a different thing. That's a different thing to be talking about. But anyways, so the thing is, people are willing to pay for education. So it's funny, like even when you see like somebody like Louis Rossmann go on there, and he shows motherboard repair, and he shows component level repair, and he shows a lot of stuff that is almost impossible to find, even if you were willing to pay for it. And then says things like, no, I really shouldn't get paid for these YouTube videos. And it's like, I hate you, Louis Rossmann, you dumbass. You dumbass. Anyways, and so the problem that I see, and why this is significant in the modern world, is so a lot of people go, you know, well, why should somebody like PewDiePie get paid lots of money, right? Look at PewDiePie. All he does is play video games. Why should he make money? Oh, Eli the computer guy. All you do is sit in front of a video camera and talk about things. Why should you make money? Oh, Eli, whatever the hell you are guy, adventure guy or whatever. You're just sitting there with a camera in your hand, walking around foreign countries. Why should you make any money? And the issue that is that this gets into people's heads, and then they start thinking, wow, I shouldn't make any money, right? Yeah, you're right. I'm not really doing any work. I'm just doing a hobby. And the problem that I see is, at what point did it become wrong to ask to get paid for work that people find valuable. You're like, oh, well, Eli, it's YouTube. It's just a hobby. It's not really that valuable. But think about it. If you're a professional actor, and you act in plays, so I go out there and I watch, I've seen lots of Broadway shows and all those kind of shows, right? And all those actors up on a stage, they get paid. And actually, things like Broadway get paid surprisingly well. Well, you know, there's a lot of people in the world that are more than happy to do little stage productions at in their local cities for absolutely no money. So should the actor or actress in a Broadway show not get paid any money because there are people in the world who are willing to act for free in their little hometown productions? Of course that's stupid. Of course that's ridiculously stupid, right? There's a big difference. You know, the Broadway actors, they do this professionally, they work their asses off, they put their time, they put their money, they put their energy, they put their resources into it. So of course a Broadway actor should not be compared to the local hometown person, you know, doing a play for church, right? That just makes normal common sense. And yet the exact same logic doesn't seem to get through for the YouTube world. It's like all these YouTube content creators like, oh no, but I'm doing what I love. Well, here's the thing, right? You know, when I was doing technology, when I was doing computer repair, and when I was installing systems and all that, I really liked doing that. I really did. It was awesome, right? I was 23 years old when I started with the IT part of it. I was 23 years old. I had a direct line to the travel department for my company. I got to go all over the country. Basically, when I said, you know, when I called and said I needed something at 23, they're like, yeah, we're gonna get it for you. That was awesome. That was fun. That was exciting. And I also got paid. I got paid well, right? Because it's your job. And so one of the things that's really weird is, for some reason, in this weird world of YouTube content creation, even though we're spending so much time, we're spending so much energy, and we're spending so much resources doing what we're doing, there is this idea that for some reason to ask or to expect to get paid for what we're doing is absolutely and utterly ridiculous. And even when people realize how much time and energy goes into this, because again, like I say, you look at Fail Normal right now, and the fact of the matter is, I could not tape from a beach from Pattaya in Thailand unless I was in Pattaya in Thailand. And here's the deal. Again, as I said before, it's $800 round trip ticket for me to get here, not including my wife. It's, you know, $50 to $100 a night in a hotel room. It costs money. And as I say, I was really and truly worried about 2 days ago I was going to get my foot chopped off. And now I have to ask you, is my foot not worth a couple of dollars? A couple of dollars. I'm not saying my foot should be worth $1 million, but I am literally out here creating content where at the end of the day, my foot could get chopped off. And again, before you're like, oh, haha, Eli, your foot could get chopped off. Oh, that's so funny. No, just pause this video for a moment. Go Google search cellulitis, and then go to images. I'll wait. Okay, we're back now. Okay, I'll let you vomit for a second. Okay, are we back now? Have you seen what cellulitis is? Have you finished vomiting? Yeah, that's what I have. That's like literally what I have. That is what I am taking the Cipro for, like right now. And when I went, like literally, I gone from a little bit of swelling to my entire foot swelling in the period of about 8 hours. And when I went was when I took my sock off and I had a little scrape on my foot and like dark blood was already starting to come out of it. And it was only growing bigger, right? Is that not worth a couple of dollars? I'm just saying, right? But a lot of people feel that it's not. A lot of people are like, no. Again, if you're on YouTube and you're doing this kind of stuff, you should just do this for free. It should just be your hobby. I mean, back YouTube was better. YouTube was better before Google owned it. And again, I'm not sure what timeline anybody is talking about. Every time somebody says YouTube was better before Google owned it, to be clear, Google bought it approximately 2 years after YouTube was created, at which point YouTube was about to be crushed in lawsuits, and there really wasn't much of anything. Really, YouTube hasn't been YouTube, the YouTube that we know and love now, probably for about 5 years ago, right? Because in 2009, when I first started looking at YouTube to actually do content creation, everybody talks about, oh, it was better.
man, 2009 has sucked. Like, one of the reasons why I built my own infrastructure back in 2009 was because the buffering and the quality of YouTube was so piss poor. You could have a max of a 15-minute video, and that wasn't it. I know a lot of people like short videos, but the quality, the actual resolution of videos was shit at the time. Not only that, but it would buffer to high hell and back. So if I had a video and you would go to watch it, I mean, even a 15-minute video at piss poor quality would buffer from their systems. I had like 35 megabit per second connection even back then, and it was still business class 35 megabit per second connection watching YouTube would still buffer to high hell and back. So, right, you know, so there's whole thing like, oh, YouTube was better back in the day before anybody was making money off of it. You know, that's just a bunch of crap, just so we're clear on that. But there's this idea that, oh, it was better back then, oh. But you look at it, and again, you look at, like I was watching like Philip DeFranco, right? So I watched a little bit of Philip DeFranco. I don't know, I've gotten into this whole drama thing. It's interesting, I like it. It's my, you know, look, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go to strip clubs. I got some YouTube drama. You know, everybody's got to have a little bit of vice in life, I would say. Just a little bit of vice, not a lot, a little. But I watched a little bit of Philip DeFranco, and I watched, of course, Drama Alert. I was talking about how I support Drama Alert before. But here's the thing, right? I was watching this video on Philip DeFranco. He does these 10-minute videos every day, and then he did this video on introducing his employees to the songs from the Hamilton soundtrack. So Hamilton is this Broadway show that's apparently impossible to get tickets to, right? So that's the thing, though. But okay, you look at Philip DeFranco and you're like, oh, okay, look, this dumbass, he gets paid money, blah, blah, blah. But then you go in there and you see that he has an office. And you see that he has quite a few employees. And you see all those employees have computers. And you see all this stuff and you're like, hey, you know what? Philip DeFranco may have a really kind of cheesy web show, but the reality is that's a full-fledged business. And where else in the world can you have a full-fledged business with like real employees, and people will still expect that you shouldn't make any money? Well, you should just do it for free. You should just do it as a hobby. What the fuck, right? And again, the problem that I see is so many people take that on, whether it's the Vlog Brothers, whether it's Louis Rossman, whether it's a lot of these people. You can see so many people act sheepish about making money off of YouTube. Oh, I don't know whether I should make money off of this. And it's like, but you're providing a real product. You're providing something of real quality. At what point did we decide that people that are creating things that the world enjoys literally should not get paid for it? Again, I remember a time when musicians expected to get paid. Again, they may not get paid right this second because they kind of suck and they're trying to get some name recognition, but at the end of the day, they wanted to get paid. When I was a kid, I didn't know any single musician that had zero interest in getting paid. They all had interest in getting paid. They just all weren't sure if anybody would actually pay them, was kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is what I don't understand in this modern world is people are going out there and they're creating content, they're creating all this kind of stuff, and yet there's this idea that them being paid for that or being compensated for that is absolutely and utterly ridiculous. And the worst part is, I mean, it's one thing if the jackass viewers think that, if the subscribers think that, but the worst part is so many of the content creators themselves internalize this, and then they just keep presenting that, right? So if viewers say that content creators shouldn't get paid, and then you hear content creators basically say, oh yeah, it's not really right that we get paid, well then, you know, for any of us with half a brain, we kind of get screwed, right? And the question that I have is like, where did this mentality come from? Where did this thought come from? Because if you want people being able to put out content, again, for me, for Eli, I need to come up with a new name for myself. Eli, the fail normal guy, right? If you want me putting out content, if you want me to put out an hour of content a day from all kinds of wacky places in the world, guess what? I gotta be compensated for this. Like, in order for me to break even with this project, right? So right now, I'm not gonna say this is a project of passion or a project of love, because that would be a bit of a lie. This is a project of hope. This is a project of curve. I have a curve, and I think I can exploit that curve, right? But in order for this project to basically break even, it will cost $5,000 per month. And now when I say $5,000 per month,
What you have to understand is some months will cost $15,000 and other months will cost $1,000 or $2,000. On average, I've done the math to look at it. You know, when you start talking about airfares and hotel rooms, and actually, again, at a scalable production level. Again, me doing this one-off, you know, let's say I do these videos every once in a while, then of course I can make it a lot less expensive. But if I actually turn this into a production, you know, we get back from Thailand and I keep cranking this stuff out, it comes out to $5,000 a month out of pocket. So it'll cost $5,000 a month simply to get to the break-even point with this. So imagine if I was stupid enough to be one of these dumbasses saying, well, no, I really shouldn't make any money off of this. Well, then the problem becomes, if I'm not willing to make any money off of this, and it costs $5,000 a month to keep this little endeavor going, guess what? This endeavor ain't gonna keep going. Like, I don't know what it is with people that they don't seem to understand that people have bills to pay. People have mortgages to pay. People have health insurance to pay. People have to pay for their Cipro. People have to pay for their Cipro so that they can keep their feet. Again, it may not have been expensive. It was only 720 baht, but I think that 720 baht was a wonderful investment in order to keep my foot. Right? But it costs money. So if you have all these people that are saying, oh, well, you shouldn't get paid, and then you have these content creators, oh, well, I don't really feel right getting paid, then it kind of screws everybody. And again, it goes to this whole idea where a lot of people say YouTube was better before content creators started wanting money. And the thing that I don't understand is how, because the only way that we can put out the amount of content that we do is that most of us actually get paid for what we're doing. Now, I know Louis Rossmann, you know, that yak ass, he does this stuff as therapy. And so basically he's willing to do all this work just because. But you know, most of us, again, like I say, most of us have bills to pay. Most of us have things to do. And so you got to look at it from an adult perspective. If you have things to do and one thing pays you money and another thing doesn't, what are you going to put the effort in? What are you going to put the effort into? What are you going to put the emphasis on? Again, you know what I'm saying? Wife likes vacations. Wife likes vacations. Wife likes health insurance. All of that kind of stuff. When you marry your spouse, they may think, like, right at this second, oh yeah, it's cute. They're a poor YouTube content creator. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that nice? But believe me when I say, the whole idea of cute and sweet and nice goes out the window at a certain point. There's a certain point where your spouse will look at you and go, yeah, I understood when we got together that you weren't making a lot of money. But, you know, there's a point that I did expect you to be paying the mortgage. You're paying your chunk of the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't do it, not only having problems with YouTube content creation, then you're going to be having problems with your spouse. And again, once you start having problems with your spouse, that's when it all gets bad, right? And so this is something that I want folks to think about. And again, YouTube content creators, and not only YouTube content creators that want to make money, right? So of course, somebody like me who always talks about money, obviously I want to make money off of my content creation because I'm, of course, a greedy ass bastard. But more importantly, what I want people to think about is people like Louis Rossmann, and I'll harp on Louis Rossmann because I know he watches these. A, I know he watches these videos, and B, I don't mind giving him free advertising. But while I harp on people like Louis Rossmann, is because the thing is when people like him still talk about YouTube content creation as if somehow it's not really right or it's not really ethical to quote unquote do things like beg for money, the problem is it makes us all look bad, right? Because then people go, look, because again, Louis Rossmann, if you look at him, Louis Rossmann owns a business, Louis Rossmann does all this technical work, he's a smart person, Louis Rossmann has employees and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody like Louis Rossmann is saying, oh, well, I don't want to beg for money off of Patreon or something like that, well, then people start associating Patreon and all that with begging for money. And then it's like, wow, look at all these other greedy ass content creators. They're just begging for money. It's like, no, we're not begging for money. We just, unlike Louis Rossmann, we don't have a crappy ass electronic repair business to go back to. It's like, I don't need therapy. I need a job. Like, I'm happy for Lewis that that YouTube is his great therapy. That's a wonderful thing. Here's the thing, I don't need therapy. I'm more or less good in the head. I won't say more or less. What I need is a way to pay the bills. And so that's one of the big things just for folks to be thinking about is, again, not just the content creators that are actually that are actually doing something and to get them in the mindset that they should get paid for it, but also in the people that don't necessarily want to get paid for it, that don't necessarily care about getting paid for it, to get them to shut the fuck up about, well, I really shouldn't be getting paid for what I do. Shut up! Shut up! I'm happy for you. I am happy you don't care about this money. A lot of us do. And again, if you want the other content creators to be creating the ecosystem that you're going to be building off of, you need people that make money. Because again, if you want people to be putting out content every day, like even like with PewDiePie, right? So we can argue about whether or not PewDiePie should get paid what he does. So apparently, like, he made like $12 million last year. So that's a lot of money. So whether or not PewDiePie should get paid $12 million last year, again, that's a big old moral, ethical, capitalistic question that I'm just not gonna go near right now, right? But here's the thing, he actually does a lot of work. If you see the amount of content that PewDiePie creates, he creates a tremendous amount of work. And so it's really funny when people turn around and say with folks like that for some reason, like, what they're doing is a hobby, and therefore it's ridiculous that they get paid. I mean, anybody else who is putting out that much content, they would expect to get paid. You know, the weather girl expects to get paid. The news anchor expects to get paid. The ESPN anchors expect to get paid. The professional football players expect to get paid. All of these people in the entertainment industry, it is completely and utterly normal for them to get paid. And let's face it, you know, those football players, they're making a crap ton of money. And yet, YouTube content creators, well, you guys are just being greedy, right? So that's the big thing that I see. There's a lot of this YouTube content creator ambivalence about what we do. And all of us need to start acting as if we actually are in a real profession. Again, whether or not we get paid for the real profession. Again, like I say, with Louis Rossman, if he wants to be the equivalent of the guy who does, the guy who plays a part in the church musical and doesn't get paid for that, hey, that's completely fine. That is completely a-okay. But it's when people that play the parts in the church musical start disparaging basically the people that are on Broadway. It's like, you know, it's kind of like it's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily saying this like Lewis disparages the Broadway. It's just more that mentality of should we get paid for what we do? And it's like, yes, we should all get paid for what we do. And we shouldn't talk about it as if we're begging. And we shouldn't talk about it if it's a fucking hobby. We are out there, we are creating content. Anybody else in the world, like Anthony Bourdain or whatever, when he travels around the world, that mofo gets paid. And he even has a cameraman. That motherfucker has a cameraman and a sound guy and an editor and like a travel department and all that. I'm doing all that crap. I want to be Anthony Bourdain for a day, damn it. Why is it he can get paid all the money and nobody blinks at it, but YouTube content creator travels around the world, expects to make a decent living, and that's just a bridge too far. That's just a bridge too far. Now, why a lot of you folks may be saying, okay, well, this is the same old YouTube content creator wine. Oh, Eli, this is a wine. But it's not a very good quality wine. Is 2016 going to go down as the year of the bad wine? Are people going to think in 20 years, oh, there have been good wines and bad wines, but genuinely 2016 was the worst year for the wines? Well, why this comes up in the modern world and why this is important beyond YouTube content creators is because so much of, especially the American economy, is turning into content creation. So whether it is things like web design, again, whether it's things like video production or music production or game production or any of these things, basically we are turning into an economy that produces a lot of content in one form or another. And the problem is in this world of piracy, in this world of streaming, in this world of whiny ass people, everybody keeps devaluing this content, and they keep saying for whatever reason that it should be free and that we shouldn't have rights to the things that we've created. We shouldn't have copyright or trademark or licensing rights or any of that kind of stuff. And why should a YouTube content creator expect that their products should be protected in the same way a Hollywood studios should be protected, so on and so forth? And so the issue is that this goes into a much wider world. When I do my Skype meetings and I talk with people who create websites, so many of the people don't believe that they should charge $5,000 or $10,000 to build websites. Why should I charge $5,000 or $10,000 to build a website, Eli? I can go out there and I can buy a laptop computer, and basically I can do it from my home office, and so I can buy all of that for like $1,000 or $2,000, or I can buy a Mac and everything done for like $3,000. Why shouldn't I charge somebody $5,000 or $10,000 for a website? And it's like, because there are so many more costs than you even think about. There's so many more costs than you even give things credit for, because you've got to pay for health insurance. Yeah, just because building a website can seem easy, that doesn't change the fact that you need to buy health insurance, and health insurance in the United States for a family costs at least $10,000. $10,000 a year. That's for your health insurance. And then you've got to buy things like equipment, and then you've got to buy things like insurance, and then you have to pay lawyers. And hey, guess what? Lawyers don't quibble about their fees, and I know my lawyers. My cheapest lawyer costs $350 per hour. So when I say I don't want to call my lawyer, unless I really have to call my lawyer, that is not a joke. That is not being facetious. That is truly saying, I do not want to have to call my lawyer unless I have to call my lawyer. But if you're going to get contracts created, if you're going to get contracts looked after, I mean, the fact of the matter is you got to put a few $1,000s aside for legal fees every year. Even if you don't need them this year, you may need them the next, right? Until you have all that stuff. But people, but it's so easy to build a website. Yeah, but dumbasses, there's so much that goes into it. There's client acquisition costs. There's this, there's that, there's the other thing. There's making enough money so that when you have slow times, you can keep going on. And so the problem that I see is so many people, they can now create video games, they can create mobile games or mobile apps from home. And so they say, wow, why should I charge for mobile apps if any jackass can make a mobile app from home? It's like, because it's not simply about the mobile app. It's about the business. Again, right? Sure. If all you want from me is to talk into a webcam for an hour, I can use a smartphone that I have at my house, that I already have. I can use a smartphone that I had from 6 years ago, probably. And straight from that smartphone, I can upload that to YouTube. And that can be it. I can use some archaic phone, and I can talk into it, and I can upload it. And that would cost almost nothing to do. And so you say, look, Eli, it costs almost nothing for you to create a YouTube video. No. It costs almost nothing for me to talk into a camera and then upload it. If you wanted me to be doing Let's Live videos where you see beautiful sunsets over the beaches of Pattaya, this costs money, right? And there's all of these extra expenses. There's all of these things that go into it, and people don't think about it. Again, if you want people to create YouTube content for free from the purity of their heart because they don't care about money. Don't get me wrong. People will still create YouTube content. I would probably even still create YouTube content. But instead of me trying to create one piece of content per day, it'll probably go down to one piece of content, I don't know, maybe per week. So you go down from one per day down to maybe 4 per month. Probably like 2 per month, right? And I'll only keep doing that so long as I'm actually interested in doing that. And as soon as something more interesting comes along, I buy the latest PlayStation system and figure out why the hell I should play video games at 40. Then I'll give up and just go start playing video games. Because realistically, if I'm not making any money off of YouTube, if I'm doing YouTube simply as a passion project, then de facto, I make as much money playing PlayStation as I do creating YouTube videos. Therefore, when I get a PlayStation, and I'd rather do that than create videos, then I do that. Or if I find some other project, I do that. Like there's this weird idea that content creators will simply create content because they have the passion for creating content, and that is all that they care about. And the problem that I would say is because up until recently, so much of the demographic of YouTube has been very, very, very stupidly young people. It's been 14-year-olds. And again, 14-year-olds don't have to worry about mortgages. They don't have to worry about $10,000 a year at a minimum for family health insurance. They don't have to worry about other insurances. They don't have to worry about legal fees. So when they play music at their friend's birthday party, of course they do it for passion, and of course they do it for free. Because somebody else is paying to feed them. To feed them, right? As soon as they actually have to feed themselves, that tune is gonna change. And so this is just one of those things I want folks to be thinking about. There's this whole, like I say, it's a YouTube content creator ambivalence. But I would argue it shows an issue that is reaching out to the larger and larger world, where more and more people are becoming more and more ambivalent about getting paid for what they do. I can't get paid to do this because, oh my golly, Eli, somebody out there is poor. And how dare I not help somebody who is not willing to pay for my services? It's like, here's an idea. Improve your services to the point that they want to pay you. Right? I mean, that's basic business, right? That's basic business. The basic idea of business is you figure out how much money you have to get paid. You look at resource cost. You figure out how much you want to charge, and the middle is a profit. And then you figure out how to create a quality enough product where they will pay you the amount of money that you need. And here's the thing: if you're not creating a product where people will pay you money or enough money, then find a better product. Right? Why is this such a shocking concept anymore? Again, there is nothing morally wrong with money. There is nothing morally bad with money. People put this whole idea on money like, oh, profit is horrible. People who try to make money or try to get rich or any of this stuff, they're just evil in this little horrible way. And I don't want to be like those people. But it's like, well then, ask me this. If you're not making money from what you're doing full time, then how do you pay your mortgage, or how do you pay your rent? How do you pay your insurance? And here's the thing too, right? If you actually want to make a better world, let's imagine for a second that you don't have your head so far up your ass you can't see the sunshine anymore. Let's just imagine that for a second. Let's imagine that you really did want to make a better world. You know, a better world where employers treated their employees well, right? A world where employers gave employees the benefits that they deserved. A world where employers did blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm thinking, and this is just some magical thinking right here. This is just straight out of my buttocks. I just reached really far up my buttocks and pulled out the stinkiest idea I can find. Well, you know, if you have all these great ideas and these wonderful ideas, and you know how the world should be and how the world would be better, well, imagine if you had enough profit that you could actually hire people and actually do those things that you're talking about. You know, instead of whining and bitching and moaning about what somebody else isn't doing, what if you were making enough money to actually do it? Again, like the DeFranco show apparently has at least 4 or 5 or 6 employees. Again, the Fine Brothers. Oh, they're so horrible. They're so evil. Eli, how dare you bring up the Fine Brothers? But what do they have, like 40 employees? Right? Making money off of YouTube content creation, putting stuff out every day. Again, I don't personally like the Fine Brothers stuff. I literally don't watch the Fine Brothers stuff. The only thing I did, the only Fine Brothers stuff I ever watched was enough to basically figure out what the hell it is they did. But, you know, they're employers. I mean, think about that. All those people giving the Fine Brothers crap. Oh, how dare they do that on YouTube? How dare they try to monopolize? Yeah, how many people are you employing? How many people come to you for their paychecks? How many people look to you so that their kids can get fed and so that insurance and mortgage and all that can be paid? Right? All high and mighty. People are all high and mighty because nobody actually depends on them. Right? And so that's what I would say with so much of this stuff is so much of our economy is going into this new world of content creation, whether it's YouTube content creation, whether it's music creation, whether it's game creation, again, whether it's blogging, whether it's writing. Think about how many people write so much content and then don't expect to get paid.
And then not only is that just stupid, because then they're not getting paid. They are creating something that has an economic value, but they're not really getting paid. But then because they're not getting paid, that then starts doing things like crushing the magazines and crushing the newspapers so that they can no longer pay the journalists and employees that they have. And then once they stop paying the journalists and employees that they have, then the whole news system starts to go down the toilet. I mean, remember when there were journalists you were actually proud of? Have you read a local newspaper lately? Again, most of the local newspapers, they're dealing with economic decline. They're dealing with the type of content that they create being economically shredded, and so they're just following the path of least resistance. So you now have the major news organizations who, instead of trying to create better quality content, they're trying to create cheaper content, which basically means blog content, right? And it all goes down. And it's all because people are ambivalent about getting paid for what they do, right? You know, I mean, that's the thing. Like I knew somebody who was a photographer for the Associated Press years ago, back in the 90s, right? And he was telling me about how you get paid for pictures that go for the Associated Press. And so he was talking about, he had a friend of his, there were Missouri floods. I don't know, there were floods in some part of the U.S. The previous year. And one of his friends took like the quintessential picture of the floods. And it went on the cover of Newsweek. And Newsweek, there's a whole bidding process for pictures that were up for the Associated Press. And so he earned $40,000 off of that one picture. Now again, before everybody talks about him being greedy, he didn't make $40,000 off of every picture. $40,000 was not a normal thing. That was truly an outlier. But the fact was that he got $40,000 for that one picture, so that he could continue to be a photographer, so he could continue to be a professional photographer, because the value of photography hadn't been driven to the toilet. Now, again, you have these professional news organizations, you have CNN and Fox News and all these companies that now just put this thing out looking for Twitter pictures or looking for Instagram pictures, and basically people are then providing all this stuff for free, literally not only just not expecting money, but thinking that it's absurd that they shouldn't make money, which means all those professional photographers out there that would go through all the time and energy to make sure that they get the best quality photos, many of them can no longer make a living like they used to. And again, as people say, well, that's just creative destruction or whatever. But you gotta start thinking about where this goes, right? So that's what I would say. This whole YouTube content creator ambivalence and content creator ambivalence, people have to start thinking about the value of what it is they create. Again, the one thing that I like with Louis Rossmann, he came up with, he has a forum. And I wish I liked forums. I hate dealing with forums, to be honest. But he created a forum, and so I think it's like $30 a month for his forum, so that he'll answer questions. And now he's up to like 50 members of the forum. Which, if you do the math, right, that's $1,500. Well, $1,500, he can make enough money to actually help people support the forum and keep it going. Whereas a lot of people are like, well, if you create a forum, you should offer your answers or whatever for free. It's like, yeah. And again, I'll answer one question for free per week, or maybe 3 questions per week. But you're not going to put a lot of time and a lot of energy. If you have motherboards to repair here, and that's paying work, and you have questions that people want the answers for free here, what are you going to do? You're going to fix the motherboards, right? So anyways, that's a rather my long-winded little hissy fit about YouTube content creator ambivalence. Because again, like I say, what was funny is like Onionson or whatever the hell it was, like he was talking about all this smack about, oh, YouTube content creators, you know, we sit in front of our cameras and we expect to be respected and we expect to get paid and all that kind of stuff. And it was really like snarky, especially as a content creator who has like 2.5 million subscribers. And it really is just sad in so much of a way that even our own, even content creators who make money off of this, still treat it as like an absolute joke. And again, it's not. Again, look at that foot. Is that not a beautiful foot? Is that not the most gorgeous foot you have ever seen in your life? I tell you, this is a beautiful foot. This is a wonderful foot. I love this foot so much. I would make love to this foot if my foot would reach, but it won't, right? It is a beautiful foot. And it's not a joke. It's not a joke. I was just in a fucking Thai hospital where they hooked me up to an IV, and they were really ready to give me antibiotics through the IV, because they were like, ooh, that's bad. Ooh, that could be bad. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. But right, you know, and that's what, you know, some of us are out here doing. And again, get paid. Anyways, I'm happy right now. We're up to like $87 in ad revenue per month. So I have a curve. So we've been going up and up and up as far as ad revenue goes. So we're up to $87 per month on ad revenue for this channel. So that, you know, pays for a day of something. That's the break even for one day. And then we're up to $72 on Patreon. Everybody seems to have forgotten about Patreon. It was really weird. I talked about Patreon like a couple weeks ago. It was like, I created Patreon. And like people rushed to Patreon. And like in 2 days, I had like 20 people sign up for Patreon. And then everybody was like, Patreon is so 5 minutes ago. We all watched Louis Rossman's video on Patreon, and he said Patreon was begging. So we decided that we didn't want to demean Eli by giving him money for begging. Patreon is not begging. Patreon is literally, if you like what I'm doing right now, like no shit. It's about $5,000 a month. Like break even on what I'm doing right now, especially in, like I say, a production environment, month in, month out, is gonna be about $5,000 per month. Because again, you gotta think about like hotels. And again, like right now I'm in Thailand, and so Thailand is overall relatively inexpensive. But you know, I start going to places in the US, or especially in Europe, holy hell, you know, Europe, the euro is down, but it's still something like $1.2 to the euro, right? And then you have airfare to consider, and food, and all that kind of stuff. And the US, that's just brutally expensive in the US, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, money matters. This whole thing about like, oh creators, you're just so privileged and so whatever. And again, like I said, that's what I don't understand with it. Because again, for me, I've been doing content creation now for 6.5 years. 6.5 years, and at least 4. So the first year I did it full time, and then basically I took time off because I figured it was failing. I didn't figure I was gonna make any money. So basically, out of 6.5 years, let's say about six, I've basically done this as my job. And think about any other profession where you would get 6 years experience, be top of the game of what you're doing. Like again, like I say, I'm Eli the Computer Guy, my main channel, world known for that, world renowned for what I do over there. Where else would you spend 6 years doing something, become world famous doing it, and then it would be considered déclassé that you should expect like a real salary, a real income, and actually to make decent money off of it? Where else? But yeah, like I say, there's this idea, oh no, but you create YouTube content. But you should do it out of passion, Eli. You should create this content simply out of passion. I thought, okay, I'll do 1 video a month. I will do 1 passion video a month. Or I can do 29 a month, or 20, or whatever the hell else I'm doing. Anyways, that's just my thought. Those are my thoughts about the whole ambivalence of YouTube. Because it is such a weird world. It is such this weird world. Like I say, that even the content, and even like I say, the big content creators, again, like small content creators, I can understand if they don't really expect to make any money. You know, like no offense to like Big Nate 84. So Big Nate 84, he has like 10,000 subscribers. So Big Nate 84 doesn't expect to make any money. Hey, that's fine. I completely understand that. He's just doing this kind of part-time, doing a video every once in a while. But you know, I also don't expect Big Nate 84 to say it's absolutely and utterly ridiculous that somebody doing this full-time as a real job shouldn't make money. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's like, what? So, anyways. This is Pattaya. This is very nice. This is very beautiful. It's a lot more built up than you would think for Thailand. But again, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this nice little adventure in Thailand. Because one of the things I'm trying to show you folks is just how normal Thailand really is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this idea that you come to these places and like there's some other world, like Thai people are a different type of people, or that you know, this whole idea of like third world countries or first world countries. Oh, come on. Why are you? Or whatever else. And what I'm trying to show you is no, you know, like I say, there's rich parts and there's poor parts, there's new parts and there's old parts. But it's all one big old world. One big old world that you too can come to if you want to spend, I'll say, $800 round trip. I do have to say, Qatar Airlines, they get a thumbs up. But as far as my little foot is concerned, I have to say I'm very happy. Almost all the swelling has gone down. Again, like I say, it's a little puffy. It's a little puffier than is normal. But overall, the swelling has gone down. And something interesting is I felt like swelling in my entire body has gone down. Like, I was feeling like my clothes were getting tight and everything. I kind of complained to my wife about that. I was wondering if it was like water retention or something. But I am actually starting to wonder if I did come down with something earlier than I thought I did. Like maybe like literally as soon as I landed in Bangkok, maybe like one of the first meals I ate, like maybe then and there I came down with a little something, because I was feeling like really bloated. Like my clothes were feeling tight, my underwear was even feeling tight, all this stuff was feeling tight. And now again, about 2 days of taking the antibiotics, not only is the foot shrunken down, but I also feel as if the rest of my body has stopped bloating. So that's definitely a good thing. We're still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to be doing with this trip. So we're going to stay here. So this is a second night. So we've booked at least 2 more nights here. So we have tonight, tomorrow night, and the night after. And then after that, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do, because I feel better. I feel good now. I feel better now. I'm figuring out how I need to stay healthy here in Thailand. So what we're thinking is maybe we'll go down to one of the islands. Maybe we'll go down to one of the islands for like 4 days. And then from the island, we'll go over to Siam Reap. We'll go over to Angkor Wat for like a week or so, and then come back into Thailand and figure it out from there. So we've already been here a week. And by the end of this, that'll be 2 weeks. So by the time we leave here, it'll be about the end of 2 weeks. So if we go a little somewhere else, and you put some travel, and you put in Angkor Wat, then the soonest we would leave would be about at the month mark, realistically. And so originally our plan had been to be in this area for only a month. So although it definitely is not the plan that we were thinking about, you know, that wouldn't be too bad. So what we're thinking about is, you know, do the whole Angkor Wat thing, then see how we're feeling. If we're not feeling it, we pay the $400 change fee, hop on a Qatar Airways flight back to Dulles and be done with it. We spend a month in Thailand. Or if we are still feeling it, maybe still travel around. Again, one of the big problems that I've been having here is it's been so hot. But talking with the Thais, apparently this really is abnormal. So like, yes, it is very hot right now. And yes, Thailand is generally hot. But again, there's a difference in heat between 95 and 110. So apparently 110 really is odd. 105 for most of these places really is odd. So what I'm also thinking is, you know, we stay here, which is cooler. Then we go to the next place, which is cooler. Then we go to Angkor Wat, Siam Reap, which is still cooler. And so if it's 2 weeks from now, what I'm hoping is maybe like this is just like a heat spell or something. And so by the time, like in 2 weeks when we get done with Angkor Wat, the heat will have dissipated, and then we can go to Chiang Mai when it's you know, a chilly 100 degrees instead of 105. That is my thought. Because as far as my body is concerned, what I'm learning about myself is that it doesn't like over 100 degrees. Like up to 100 degrees, it's pretty okay. It's like, you know what, up to 100 degrees, we can deal with this. You know, get to 101, it's like, we're not so happy with this. It's really up to 105 and all that. That's when I start getting the heat rash and all kinds of wacky stuff going on. So that's basically the plan. So we'll go from here, probably to a beach town, from the beach town to Angkor Wat, Siam Reap, and then from Siam Reap we'll see if the heat spell is over. Then we'll probably go up to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, as I had planned to do this trip. And if the heat spell isn't over, we'll just hop on a plane and go back home. Because again, I mean, all whatever aside, I actually do think this is what I want to do. Like, I kind of like this content creation thing. I didn't think I was gonna really like content creation way back when. Again, as I always said, I'm a geek. I'm a geek who sits in front of a webcam. I'm a geek mushroom, right? I'm just a mushroom in front of a webcam. But I've started to like this whole content creation thing. So I really think that I am gonna continue this. Like, I think this is the business. I mean, it's a lot steeper than the other business. I really like Eli the Computer Guy. You know what I like about Eli the Computer Guy? 99% profit margin. 99% profit margin is a beautiful thing.
This isn't gonna have a 99% profit margin, but I really like doing this. I really do like doing this, and looking at the curve with money and with views. Like, we're up to like 3,500 views per day, which may not seem like a lot, but also realize like Eli the Computer Guy only has like 50 to 60,000 views per day. So I mean, it's already up to like somewhere between 5 to 10% of the views of Eli the Computer Guy in a rather short amount of time. So again, if I can scale this up within the next year, I genuinely, honestly believe that this channel could be far more successful in many ways than Eli the Computer Guy will be. So I'm gonna keep doing this. So our plan is, like, even if we leave here, so the idea is whenever we leave here, whether it's 2 weeks from now or whether it's 4 weeks from now, we'll go back, we'll recoup, we'll get everything together, and then we plan to go out for a month or two back into the RV. And so go into the travel trailer and go up north. And so go up north into the Adirondacks. Adirondacks are gorgeous, Adirondacks are amazing. Then go up to Acadia, go up to Maine, and then the idea is then to go into Nova Scotia, and then Canada, and then travel around Nova Scotia, and then obviously come back down again. And so that's the next plan, and then we'll see how it goes after that. So yeah, that's all. Basically, the idea is keep bouncing in, keep bouncing out, and see what we can do with this whole little adventure. Because I like this. Again, as I say, I've traveled anyway. I travel and do adventure and all that kind of stuff anyway. I might as well spend an hour a day and talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's see, I can spend an hour a day and talk about it and get residual income. I like residual income. Again, we're gonna talk about residual income in another video. But you know what's really nice about residual income is, even though I'm not creating videos for Eli the Computer Guy right now, Google is still dumping money into my account from Eli the Computer Guy. Yay! Right? Now obviously, if I go too long without creating videos, that amount of money is going to go down. But if that money keeps coming in, and then I can build up this channel to start making money, that's what we call a business. That's what we call a business. And again, another video I do, you know, when you start thinking about how to make money in the world and start thinking about how to be successful, many times you shouldn't necessarily worry about what you want to do, but rather what people want out of you. And again, as I will say many times, I will be egotistical and arrogant about my skills in a server room. I will be egotistical and arrogant about my skills as a technology professional. But let me tell you, I have no idea why the hell you folks sit there and watch me for like an hour at a shot. Why you guys watch like an hour of my vlog per day, I simply don't get. But it doesn't matter whether or not I understand. It doesn't matter whether or not I grasp the concept. The fact of the matter is, you folks do. And so you know what? If you folks want something out of me that's not too hard for me to do, that I feel pretty good doing, and I can make money off of it, seems like a good idea. I don't know. Shocking how that goes. Shocking. Anyways, I think my wife wants dinner, and the sun is almost down. So with that, I will leave you with a parting shot of the setting sun, and then I'm gonna go try to find some good Indian food. Pattaya has some really good Indian food around here. Just, you know, it's odd, I'm in Thailand, but since I've been here, I've been eating lots of Indian food. But, you know, hell. Again, I don't care, it's good. Just because you're in Thailand doesn't mean you have to eat Thai food. We eat what's good, and here, the Indian food is really good. Anyways, with that, the parting shot of the sun and swimming kids and whatnot.